There's a moment early in Top Gun Maverick where a two-star admiral looks Pete Mitchell dead in the eye and tells him the future doesn't have a place in it for him. The exact words are something like, "Your kind is headed for extinction." And Maverick just grins and says, "Maybe so, sir, but not today." I've watched that scene more times than I'll admit. Not because of the jets, but because of the look on his face. It's the look of a man who has been written off politely, professionally, with a pension and a handshake, and has quietly decided he's not going anywhere. I know that look. I've worn it a few times in conference rooms. So this week, of all weeks, I want to talk about being called back to the stage. But I need to do it carefully because this is Memorial Day weekend, and I don't want to be cute about it. Let me get the most important thing out of the way first, because it shouldn't share the spotlight with anything. Memorial Day is not a marketing holiday. It's not a mattress sale. It's the day we set aside to remember people who didn't get a second act, who didn't get the encore, the comeback, the next chapter. They gave all of it so the rest of us could keep going. Whatever I say in the next 8 minutes about second acts and staying in the game, I say it knowing some people never got that chance. That's the whole point of the day. Hold on to that. I think about this more than I used to, partly because of where I sit now. As a CMO in the travel protection world at Seven Corners, the job is literally about the people who go out in uncertain times, in uncertain places. Travelers, yes, but also the people who serve, who deploy, who go where the rest of us won't. When you spend your days thinking about protecting people who are far from home and in harm's way, Memorial Day stops being abstract. And here's the thing I keep coming back to, and it's the actual idea of this episode. You don't honor a legacy by standing still next to it. You honor it by what you do next. Let me tell you what changed for me, not in a single dramatic moment, but slowly across a lot of years and a lot of seats. I've never actually worked inside an agency, but I spent a big chunk of my career on the other side of the table. As the client, the one writing the brief and judging what came back, I've hired agencies, fired a couple, and sat in more, here's the big creative reveal meetings that I can count. And I can tell you exactly how I used to evaluate that work when I was young versus how I do it now. When I was newer to the client chair, somebody would present a Memorial Day or a 4th of July concept, and it had a flag, an eagle, a slow motion folded flag, and some swelling strings. I'd nod. It felt right. It hit the right symbols. I understood the symbols. What I didn't yet understand was the weight underneath them. These days, an agency brings me the same flag and eagle concept, and something in my gut goes quiet. Not because it's wrong exactly, because it's easy. It's reaching for the symbol instead of the meaning. And after enough years of actually serving the people we serve, travelers in trouble, families a long way from home, the folks who can't deploy, I can feel the difference between a campaign that respects them and a campaign that's just performing respect at them. That's the part the 25-year-old prompt wizard can't fake. You can generate a flag. You cannot generate 25 years of learning to tell the real thing from the easy thing. This is what I mean when I say experience is your superpower and not your expiration date. Judgment like that isn't a skill you download. It's a thing you accumulate, usually by approving a few hollow concepts first and watching them land with a thud. Okay, let me bring back to the jets, because there's a line in that movie I can't stop thinking about. When the young pilots complain that the mission is impossible for any human to fly, Maverick tells them it's not the plane, it's the pilot. I want to steal that and bend it, because right now there's a whole industry telling marketers that the plane is everything, that the tool is the talent, that if you just have the newest model, the slickest agentic AI, the cleverest prompts, you win. It's not the plane, it's the pilot. Here's where I'll surprise the skeptics in the room, because I know you're out there. I'm one of them, and I'm one of you. I'm genuinely, unembarrassedly excited about Agentic AI. I've been running my fractional CMO practice, in-demand consulting, and I've watched what these tools do this month for mid-market leaders. And I'll tell you what's actually selling. It's not AI strategy. Nobody's buying that anymore. What's selling is speed with judgment. Leaders want someone who can take a fuzzy goal on Monday and have 3 tested directions by Wednesday. The AI gives me the speed. The 20 plus years tells me which of these 3 is actually any good. Agentic AI didn't replace the pilot. It gave me a better instrument panel. It's the difference between flying by feel in the fog and flying with every gauge lit up. But you still have to know where you're going and why, and when the gauge is lying to you. That last part, that's the gray hair talking. Which brings me to the things I'm building, and I'll only take a second. I'm building a SaaS product, Marketer Hub, and there's a version of that that's supposed to be a punchline, a 50-something marketer building software. Cute, right? Bless his heart. Next feature drop is coming, and I'll tease it properly soon. But here's why I think the punchline is wrong. I'm not building it despite having done this a long time. I'm building it because I have. I know exactly where marketers waste their hours because I've watched it from the client side and from the founder side for over 2 decades. The 25-year-old founder has energy. I have the scar tissue. Turns out, scar tissue is a product spec. So here's your one thing to try this week, and it's small. Take one task you normally hand off or do on autopilot, a first brief, a first draft, a competitive scan, and instead of doing it the old way or fully handing it to the AI, do it as a duet. You set the direction and the standard. Let the tool fly the mechanical part. Then you do the only thing 20 plus years can do. You look at what comes back and you say, no, almost. That part's true. That part's a lie. That editing instinct, that taste, is the pilot. Practice trusting it. There's a Springsteen song everybody quotes wrong. Glory Days. People play it like it's about an old guy in a bar mourning the home runs he used to hit in high school. But listen to it again. It's about a warning. It's about what happens if you let the best part be the part that already happened. That's not us. We're not the guys in the bar. We're the ones the crowd called back out. The encore isn't nostalgia. Nostalgia is looking back. An encore is walking back out under the lights because the work isn't finished. And this time, you know the room. So this Memorial Day, honor the ones who didn't get the next chapter by living yours all the way out. Don't coast. Don't retire your judgment. The plane got better, but it was always the pilot. I'm not done yet. And I bet money you aren't either. Drop a comment with your encore moment. The project, the pivot, the role that made you say, I'm not done yet. I read every one. And subscribe so you don't miss this Thursday's Tactical Truth, where I get into out curating the algorithm.